What's up everyone, welcome to Crypto Maximalist. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like and subscribe and then hit the real subscribe button, which is the bell icon. We're posting 4 videos every day, so make sure to check back every single day. We're aiming for 20k subscribers and get a deal in the description if you haven't already. This is not financial advice. Welcome to Crypto Maximalist. Let's begin. What's up guys, so just before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe and bell icon. People aren't seeing our content and that's probably because you haven't hit the bell. Thank you again for all your support. We're so proud of the amazing community that we've built. So we're just taking a quick look at Quant here, and as we can see, it's obviously doing extremely well over the past few weeks. You can see it's basically been pumping up massively in direct indecision against the market really. You can see quite clearly, ever since May. We did have the big correction that we had in May here, where we did see Quant come down to around a price of $23, but in reality, ever since then, it recovered very quickly in comparison to most cryptos, and you can see ever since then, we've been on an absolute tear. We've actually done, if we take a look at this, it's around an 7 or 8x from the lows of around $23, which is absolutely insane in essentially the space of 2 months, maybe 3 months here. This is May, June, July. So you would say realistically, maybe 4 months now, and you can see quite clearly that we've done essentially almost a 10x in that time, which is absolutely crazy. Considering the market for overall has actually been going down, Quant has actually been going up and getting all kinds of really good fundamental news. Obviously, the potential use of it in South America for CBDCs has been leading a lot of this price action to the upside as well. And you can see it's basically been moving in direct, opposition to what's been going on. It took only essentially a week or so to recover from the big crash that we had in May, and then ever since then, it's been grinding to the upside pretty clearly. So Quant doing extremely well. We obviously drew in this channel here, which we did seem as though it did have a decent amount of confluence looking something like this. And you can see obviously trading upwards nicely inside of a channel. We actually came up and broke out the channel and retested it at support, which was really bullish. But then you can see we fell back inside the channel here. We formed kind of a bullish, you could say potentially some kind of bull flag like this. We broke to the upside and came back outside of the channel, and then we've been chopping it up in and around the top of that previous channel, something like this. Basically holding the 20 support the whole way, by the way, which is really bullish. You can see ever since we got above our EMAs here, we come up to the top of the channel, come back down, we retest the 55 as support, we wick down momentarily, we come all the way back up to the top of the channel again, we come down, test the 20 as support, roll over, test the 55 again, and then since then, we've been on an absolute tear, haven't we? Where was this? This was in July when, Bitcoin was essentially heading down below 30k. There's a bit of a correction here, but since then, been on an absolute tear. Back up above the previous resistance of the top of the channel, which is really bullish, obviously. And then since then, we've just been holding the 20 moving average on the daily time frame as support. Clearly, really bullish price action because we haven't even really retested this support that much ever since then. And it really does seem like Quant is, it's basically working its way up to a little breakout, isn't it? The volume has been dropping off really nicely. It looks as though we are today having a nice little pump for Quant, coming up from around that $183 level, all the way up to around that $200-ish level, which you would expect to be a strong psychological level of support as well. But it does seem very likely that, Quant, it's gearing up for another leg up, isn't it, realistically, when you look at what it's doing. It's basically cooling off here on the RSI, etc., and the histogram, losing a bit of momentum to the downside, cooling off for potentially another run up, and you can see it's holding the 20 moving average like an absolute beast, like basically a lot of cryptocurrencies have been doing. And you could say arguably, potentially we've formed something like this where we did have our first little range, which has basically been flipped into support now, hasn't it? We've got this resistance here, which we had at around $180, which it looks as though we've broken out of and flipped into support. And now we've got a secondary range coming in, something like this, where essentially we've just been trading in between that $180 level, that previous resistance flipped into support. And of course, coming up to around that $210 level there, basically just chopping it up to the side and going sideways for, a bit, basically the past 2 weeks, just waiting for a bit of that upwards price movement, that upwards momentum. And it does seem as though, Quant today, it's having a nice little pump here of around, 15%, along with the wider market. So if Bitcoin does start to go up in a big way, we could be looking at Quant breaking out again. And if that's the case, we could be looking at, if we take a look at our fib extensions here, got some price targets here, maybe coming upwards of around that $270 mark on a big extension on the 227. Let's just take a look at, for example, our previous fib retracement here for Quant, looking something like this. it looks as though we've pretty much perfectly come up to around, what is this $210 level, which was the 141 extension on our Fibonacci, which is pretty interesting to see. So just for argument's sake, if we did break out of here and we duck at our extension here, coming up to that 141 extension again would take us to around a price target around $231. So now that we've kind of ascertained what's going on with Quant here, it is showing a lot of strength, as you can quite clearly see by the chart. It's just been going up and up and up, hasn't it, while the market's been going down, which is really interesting. So if we did start to roll over here, you can obviously see we've got this previous range here, which we could fall back inside of. Obviously, if we did roll over, we'd expect the 20 to hold, because we have been holding it for this whole time. Coming in at around, what is this, that $180-ish level, that previous range high flipped into support as well. But if we did fall back inside this range here, we would expect, you know, the 55 coming up like this, along with the previous range low at around $150, also a psychological number to hold really nicely as well. And as we said, if we do start to see ourselves breaking out and having a pump, we could realistically expect, you know, Quant, looking at our Fibonacci extensions here, coming up to around that 141, which is what we hit last time, at around $231. So that would be a decent price target, we think, if we do start to break cleanly out of that $200-ish area. For the short term, so that'd be really good to see. And obviously, as we said, we do think Quant is a really top quality project, and we do realistically think that $1,000, $1,500 a token would be really possible by the end of the bull run, considering how strong the fundamentals are on the adoption spread. So we'd say realistically they're coming in at around $1,000. That's around a 5x from the current price. So that's it, guys. We'd like to thank everyone so much for their support. If you've got any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and don't forget to subscribe and then hit the real subscribe button, which is the bell icon, to stay up to date with the 4 videos that we post every single day. Remember, if you want to support the channel more directly and get a ton of benefits and insight, as well as joining our growing community, consider the Patreon or YouTube membership down below. You can also sign up to our free Telegram via the description as well. All the links are in the description for affiliate links for discounts and free crypto, so go check them all out below. There's plenty of goodness on offer. Please like and subscribe. We are Crypto Maximalists.